we go. Welcome back to Lenz, Comic Corner Classic, Non-Classics. This is episode number 33. I think it was 3390, 3304. Yeah, 3304. Doubleshot number 3198. We have two image trades here. One, when I saw this trade came out, I'm like, really? By the way, I don't think that this particular miniseries had ever collected for, not that I know of. I've never seen a trade paperback for this one, but here we go. We have the Violator. This is a 1994 collection. You think, wait, the Violator, one of the villains from Spawn? Yeah, he got a 3-issue miniseries in the early 90s. It's like roughly, I think it was like just 2 years after his debut, he gets his own miniseries. I think he also had one shot, and that was it. The person who wrote this, you think, was it Todd McFarlane wrote this? Well, he created the character, but he didn't write this miniseries. Oh no. This book was written by Alan Moore, which... this is probably the first series. I mean, yeah, he did write an issue for Spawn, but that's not the main. That's not like a fill-in, alright, because he was a guest writer in that book. Because Tom McFarlane had this thing for guest writers. This is probably the first series, like full series, that Alan Moore did for Image. Because he did a few others. He didn't do a lot for Image, from what I can tell. I think he also did some Youngblood. I think that was it. So I think this may have been like the first trade paperback to collect an actual full series that Alan Moore worked on for Image Comics. Because if you think about it, pretty much everything he did for DC Comics is all in trade paperback. Like everything. I mean, there's not one single thing he did from DC Comics not in trade paperback. For those of you curious, how long is this miniseries? The answer? 3 issues. And like, hold up. Then how can it fill up full trade paperback? Well, they include sketches. Yep, that was simply the reason for it. Now, when I saw this released, I'm like, of all things to release, why in the world did you bother to collect this miniseries? It's something. The fact that Todd McFarlane thought we got to collect this very miniseries. Because if you look at basically stuff he did for Image, it's not a lot. So if you're curious, how much did he do for Image? Well, he did... okay, so he did the Spawn Blood Feud miniseries. He did 2 issues of the main Spawn book. Okay, he did 2 issues of the main Spawn book. Actually 3 issues. Yeah, 3 issues of the main Spawn book. He did a book known as 1963. He did 2 Violator miniseries. Okay, so Supreme... okay, this is not the first one because they did collect his Supreme run. Yeah, his Supreme was in trade. Yeah, the whole thing. Apparently his... this is a bit of a surprise. So... his book he did for Youngblood is in trade paperback Judgment Day. His brief Youngblood run, if you're curious, is that in trade? No. No, it's not. So, Violator versus Bad Rock, that actually is in trade. Okay. This miniseries was never collected in trade before, and yet, just by pure randomness, oh, let's just put this in trade paperback for some weird reason. Yeah. I'm kind of like, really? Of all things to put from Alan Moore and trade paperback, the release recently, why the heck they picked a Violator? It makes no sense. It's drawn by Brett Sears, who's a good art. He's a very good artist, and also Greg Capullo does some of the artwork here too. Yeah, I guess maybe Todd decided to put this in trade because he's the one who owns this series, anyways. Probably because there's probably one thing here. So hey, this is not in trade paperback. Let's put in trade paperback. So a lot of this is basically the Violator nearly being tossed to sea by gangsters, and him basically. It's a very gory book. Oh my gosh, like he's even. By the way, there's the appearance of I think like Tony the Twist. There's even like someone called the Admonishing. Like what? Yeah, and there's a group of characters for this book. I'm like, so apparently there's more people like the Violator, more type of demons like him, who look like him. Yeah, and then for some weird reason, because something's altering reality in this one area of New York, Alan Moore throws in Youngblood. Yep, throws in Shaft and Bad Rock. For some reason. I'm surprised I'm surprised that Rob Liefeld allowed this, given the fact that he does own these characters. Also, I did hear this podcast, I don't know if it's still true or not. There's a bit of legal confusion of exactly because there's this thing where apparently like a lot of like Youngblood books can't be collected in trade paperback because apparently there's like a dispute or something involving the Rob Liefeld stuff that he worked on for Extreme Studios, like where the first 5 issues are in trade of Youngblood, but that's the only trade I've seen for Youngblood. So, and then randomly we have Spawn show up at the end of issue 2. Yes, frickin' Spawn, because he's from Spawn, so why not? So yeah, we also have issue page on the side here. And he just gets some power, fights the other things. We also see Tony the Twist make a brief appearance. Yeah, Tony the Twist, oh boy. This caused also legal nightmare for Tom McFarlane, just like Angela. And then we briefly see Shaft, Die Hard, Bad Rock, and the currently deceased Chapel. And it looks like Spawn's like in the gutter, and then we have Violator just does whatever he wants, and yeah, they do a lot of pencil stuff, and that's really it here. For those of you curious, like, why would I say that Chapel's dead? Well, he is. He got killed. He decided to kill himself in the last issue of Youngblood Volume 1. How did he do it? He took his gun and blew his brains out. Yes, I am not kidding about that. And I saw this, I'm like, I don't know what the heck Rob Liefeld was thinking when he did this particular scene. And the whole purpose of this death was set up a crossover. That is no trade paperback for it. Like, you can find basically Youngblood no problem. Like, a lot of the Youngblood issues. But I think recently I know there's a new Youngblood book out right now where Liefeld is in charge of it again. But I'm hoping with this new series out right now that we might see the older Youngblood books, and along with the other books from the Extreme Studios line, published in trade paperbacks. Like, I would like to see the original Youngblood book fully in trade, because only the first 5 issues are. I know the Judgment Day book is in trade, but that's it. That's all is in trade, just those 2 things. I can't think of anything else. I know that Bloodstrike is not in trade. There's also Dooms 4. There's like a lot of like... here's the thing, I know like Horror himself, basically, in character, he hates the Rob Liefeld stuff. I don't mind it though. I thought it was quite interesting for what it is. Of course, I didn't grow up in that period of time because basically I wasn't reading comics yet. Like, When he released his comics, I was like 4 or 5 years old, so I didn't read the comics, Image Comics, like years later. Give the Violator roughly a 8 out of 10. It's a really bizarre miniseries. Next up we have is Savage Dragon Merging Multiple Earths. Oh boy, this book. Reading this again, it really ticks me off. The fact that Erik Larsen, he clearly does not get Donald Trump. So let's write a parody of Donald Trump to where basically he is completely what he not is. He believes the liberal media about Donald Trump, so basically he writes a parody of him. So basically the whole merge. By the way, this book contains, if you're really curious about it, it is Savage Dragon 223, 227. Yes, it's from Erik Larsen. Now, this book in particular, sadly put, sees the death of the original main character. Yeah, he gets killed off by the end of this because of stuff happening in this book. So, Dragon's out of jail, preparing for his wedding to Jennifer. Jennifer is back, and the fact that she finds, basically she's a grandmother. And then we see Maxine and Malcolm having sex, and then, of course, basically interrupted by one of their kids, where basically it says, Mama, pee-pee. Well, they want to be parents, so they have to deal with it. And Mr. Glum proceeds to try to merge all the universe. Yeah, he tries to get the multiverse, and it gets really screwed up here. Where people get messed up memories, where, like, apparently Malcolm eats his sister, apparently. And, of course, fights bad guys, all these multiple Earths happening. So, here's basically what is revealed with all merging the Earths thing. Where apparently Malcolm slept with all Maxine's friends. The fact that on one Earth he married Angel. Another one he married Tara. And this whole thing was over the fact Mr. Glum really wanted Angel back so badly. Yeah, there's one really, you might think it's kind of a gross one. It seems like Mr. Glum is doing it with Angel on top of a dead body. And I'm like, Larsen, what the heck are you doing? So, he merges all these Earths, and suppose like he's a killer or whatever. I'm like, what? Seriously? And, like, and it's all because he won Angel back, and Angel wanted nothing to do with him. Nothing. So, then, of course, basically, he proceeds, then after all this, merging up the worlds, and all these memories, and, like, not all him, it's different worlds, and seeing this, I'm like, so, then, of course, apparently that Malcolm's blood gets on Dragon, and then he just explodes. Yes, Dragon dies. You know, our original lead character. He gets killed off here. So then we have Dragon appears to go to heaven. By the way, he's butt naked. Walks through a golden palace. Sees a group of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 women. Smiles and supply to basically he's got his own harem. Not sure where the heck this came from. Everybody basically just doesn't blame. And of course they all are proud of Malcolm, and then for some reason Mr. Glum decides to be mad and decides to take looks like a clone of possibly Jennifer, carves the belly and takes Angel with him, possibly to raise his own daughter. Then we have a funeral. And then we have more fighting here. And then we have something really stupid happening here, where Erik Larsen's parody of Donald Trump basically tries to get rid of the aliens, and everybody get the wrong message about Dragon. This fact that he's a hero. Nope. Yeah, then we have Daredevil briefly appear. Doesn't do anything. And his version of Donald Trump is really stupid. It's a very inaccurate representation of the man. because this came out during his first presidency, and there was a bunch of bullcrap media surrounding this stuff. And I read these articles in the papers. I'm like, this is freaking nonsense. There is no evidence for any of the stuff, basically, that they're saying about Trump. Nothing. So I just toss it away because it's freaking bullcrap. And Eric Larson believes this nonsense and basically has that version of Donald Trump in this book where basically he had an executive order because recently the guy went through a bunch of good words, but basically it's a bit more reasonable nowadays than it used to be. Oh my gosh, it's freaking horrible. So, yeah, so federal agents randomly decided to attack Malcolm completely out of nowhere. And the thing is, Malcolm was doing nothing wrong. Is well, we have here. And then we have the FBI randomly showing up, by the way, no warrant, and they said to randomly beat him, and of course, he proceeded to beat federal agents. And Malcolm points out to his captain that they're the ones who did it. They're the ones who started this, not me. Yeah, then we have Jennifer, Alex, and Angel go to another dimension, go possibly Dimension X, because apparently they wanted to port our aliens Dimension X for some weird reason. I don't know why, but that's what they wanted to do. And Malcolm points out, though, they attacked him. I'm sure you have plenty of witnesses basically put the fact that they attacked him for no reason. Was Malcolm doing anything at that point? No! So, they arrest a hero. Yeah, and considering 3 human beings aliens. Why? Because basically that they were with them? That's freaking bullcrap. Oh my gosh, this is so freaking stupid. Yeah. And then of course we have Malcolm, Maxine, and the kid just on a trailer. And they get dropped off in Canada because apparently Canada is where aliens are fleeing to. So they have to start a new life in Toronto. Okay. They get a new apartment in Toronto. Excuse me. And yeah, and then of course they go to a party, and then the kid, and then looks like that Maxine decides to walk around her bedroom with butt naked because it's her room. And well, Kevin's here apparently, and then apparently we see that Angel, Jennifer, and Alex eat some monster stuff, and that's the book. I'm like, wow. Now this book is coming stupid. I do enjoy Savage Dragon, I really do. But my gosh, some of the stuff in this book is crap. Oh my gosh. Like, the stupid parody of Donald Trump, the FBI agents randomly attacking Malcolm because he's an alien. I'm like, wow. Why the heck did you believe in this nonsense, Larson? Like, I still read the book. Yeah, I guess he decided to move the character to frickin' Canada because he can't be in the US anymore. Yeah, the Glum thing was fine, but my gosh, the soul thing with the politics in this book is so freaking crap. It's by far going to be one of the worst. It's going to be the lower rating I give the other books. I give this book roughly a 7.75 out of 10. I would give it a little higher because I do enjoy the artwork, but my gosh, some of the bull crap in this book. Still going to be reviewing it though. It does get a little better after this, but my gosh, that was bad. Oh my gosh, that was bad. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this particular video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. Next time we're going to do one more comic corner, which is the last one I'm ready to go. And then basically it's going to be on to Don. Okay, next video. Bye.